welcome back to another video, guys. In this video I'm going to go through the all new X-Tool D5S. This is one of the latest tools that X-Tool has produced. We're going to go through it step at a time so you can all see what it's capable of. Obviously it's brand new in the packaging. We'll rip it open. These are some of the informations. Okay, so if we rip it open, I mean, excuses for the box, that was done here. Obviously it comes well secured and packaged in that sense. It's tough. I have already opened it anyway. There was some filming on there, and obviously it wasn't in this packaging. However, I have put it in after updating it last night. I went through it. It comes obviously in this packaging, well preserved. Your manual and whatnot is in here. So as you can see, it tells us what we need to do in that sense, which is fine. This is the X-Tool information. In other words, what it comes with, where it comes from, etc. Okay. This we don't need. This is the cable which goes from the tool itself here. So this is the X-Tool. It is pretty damn handy, let me tell you that. Very nice. It's not the heaviest thing, but good in terms of weight. You've got these grips here, which is good for anyone with oily hands or when you're working on cars especially. Already gives you the diagram of which and what they are. So that's your Type-C, that's for your memory card. That is where your, let me just pop this back in, sorry. So this is where your cable goes here. And the other section, OBD, goes to the car. Your charging. I don't think there is anything else under this, which I won't be surprised. There we go, so there is nothing else. But obviously it comes with all this. Now one of the questions is how much this is, okay? But I will go through it so you know what it's capable of. And in terms of price, you can pick them up from anything, this is pounds by the way, anywhere from 130 to 180, 190, depends where you get it from and what offers there are. So here it is, and here is the back. Okay, now we're going to turn it on, and I will go through some of the things like I said, so you know what it's capable of. Right, so this will support a good few cars, and I mean quite in depth, shall we say. Well, manufacturer says it supports over 10,000 vehicles, right? But I'll just go through a few things so you know what it can cover and what not. So in terms of like including 12-volt cars, okay, your light cars, let's just say BMW 3 Series, Mini, Mercedes E-Class, you know, these sort of vehicles. Light duty trucks, so in terms of, I don't know, Mercedes Sprinter, Ivecos, Ford Transits, SUVs, so you again, BMW X4s, X5s, Mercedes GLE, GL, Toyota Land Cruisers, all these vehicles. Obviously we said minivans, including hybrid vehicles as well, and so as hybrid vehicles like Toyota CHR, Corolla. I don't know, many manufacturers produce hybrid cars nowadays, and in the day and age we're in, we're going to electric, and I'm pretty positive this covers as well. It does cover the GM models from 2020 and beyond, which kind of makes it a good tool in this sense. I'll just go through a few other things as well, just so you can all be aware. So it does cover like a good percentage of special functions. In terms of special functions, we mean like your oil light reset. So if you've got a oil warning light, electronic parking brake, where you can release that, and then most of the new cars have got electronic parking brake anyway. So honestly, you do require something like this tool to be able to change pads and whatnot. SAS, which is your steering angle sensor, like you're coding it in. So if you've changed a module, a motor, the pump, the steering rack itself, you can code it in. Another I don't know. I mean, in most countries, diesel still exist. Within the UK, diesel still do exist, and they're good sellers anyway. But we do have problems with diesel cars, and that is DPF, a diesel particulate filter. Now, the X tool is capable of doing a DPF regen, and then the battery management system as well, reset. You can do that. Throttle relearn, so if you've changed the throttle body, some vehicles are alright, you can just pop it in, boom, done, no issue. But some of the vehicles, you'll not be able to do it without having to like code it in. And I know like VAG cars, Audi CS Skoda VW are funny about it. So with that, you'll have to really code it in. TPMS, which is your tire pressure monitor sensor. Toyota, I know if you do change a tire sensor, you have to code it in. There is a specific code on there that you have to code in. This can reset it. ABS bleeding, which you'll probably require once you've changed pads. Remember, this tool can even do injector coding, which is a great piece of kit. I mean, remember, you've got other diagnostic machines out there, such as Autel, Snap-on, King Bolin, Launch. You've got X-Tool here. They're all good kits. You've got to remember, like Autel has been out for years. X-Tool as well, good few years now. Launch, good few years. King Bolin has been out recently. I've always said, look at the pricing. So with this being new in the game, such as King Bolin, these companies, so like X-Tool here, what they've provided here, this machine here, is a good kit compared to the price. So if you were to compare this to an Autel, you'd be looking at £700-800 for the same exact one, and that is to code in injectors, to relearn throttle bodies, etc. King Bolin, maybe you pick it up for around similar price, maybe 200-ish, a bit more, maybe less. But remember, guys, these tools are brilliant kit for the price. Don't be fooled thinking, oh, it's X2, no, or even any other diagnostic machine. But remember, these Snap-on I don't recommend, to be fair. They may have got new products out now, I may not be aware, but from what I've used up to today, they're not the best of the kit. They're very, very expensive in terms of price and what they offer. So if you were to get similar to this, you'd be looking at good grand or so, which is crazy. Why should you pay that sort of price when you can get the same one for a lot less? There are other functions that this does, this X-Tool D5S. So like we said, ABS, bleeding, injector coding, gearbox matching as well. I mean, come on, tell me a kit for around about 130, 140 quid that can do gearbox matching. It's just crazy. Suspension calibration, so if you've changed the suspension on a performance car, this will do it. So remember, it does that. I'm trying to think what car. So like BMW M4s, M3s, they've got the same sensors on the suspensions. Once you've changed it, sometimes it requires calibrating, or air suspension, whatnot. This will do it. Window initialization, I'll give you an example. So, usually people with these diagnostic machines, you have most of these who own a diagnostic machine. I won't say all of them, but a good percentage will be working in the salvage world, or even a mechanic, in that sense. Window initialization will be very handy, especially if your car's been in a bump or you've had a dead battery and the car's been dead, especially with like the 3-door cars like your Mercedes E-Class, C-Class, or BMW 4 Series, 2 Series. These are just some of the examples because I've worked on these cars so much for so long. Now, if you've had a dead battery, the window will not pop up. You see you've got that much gap left and it doesn't slide up, if that makes sense. Or if you pull the window regulator all the way up, it doesn't go up automatically, it only goes up a touch at a time, and that's because it's lost the memory of where it should go and how far it should go up. So this will be able to code it in, which is brilliant. I've got a lot of videos on Autel on how you can code it in, but remember, like, the Autel I was using was around the £3,000 mark, but this is around about 130, 150, depends what the price is, which is crazy. Remember, it's a big price difference. King Bolin does offer the same thing, but maybe a similar price or a bit more. But that's for you all to decide. But X-Tool's been out for a good few years. Headlight adjustment, you can, so headlight adjustments are, so some vehicles, your beam's not high enough, you can calibrate it with this, in other words, adjust it. EGR, relearn, exhaust gas recirculation, this you can do it. Relearn is basically like, you know, you cut it in back to the car, you pair it up saying you've had a new EGR, and you can activate the tests. And another positive thing is like you can do the crankshaft sensor relearn. There are many more other functions, but these are just some of them that you can use with this tool. Brilliant. And in terms of quality, I don't know. I mean, like, it's good stuff. It's heavy duty stuff in that sense. You know, it's not the cheapest stuff. It doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels really solid, and you know you've paid decent amount for it in that sense. You know, it's good. So, like I said, with this machine again, you can do a few good other things. So, like, it does an auto VIN read detection, so it will detect the VIN chassis, which is good stuff. To be fair, like your old school stuff like your Delphi and whatnot, I had trouble before. You'll have to select the car manually and whatnot. This, boom, pair up the, you know, plug the wire in, it'll detect the VIN chassis, it'll match the car up and do it. You can do a full scan and clear with this. You can view live data, which is brilliant. Which you got to remember, live data, like most machines will have it, some machines won't. Like your cheap stuff may not be able to do something. So, for example, within the engine, you may be able to read about a good 70%, 70 modules. For example, some of the cheaper stuff you'll not be able to. So with this, you can read a good percentage of stuff. Let's just say your DPF suit content, your EGR, your throttle percentage. There's a lot of things you can read in terms of live data. You can even do freeze frame data as well and compare in that sense. Your O2 sensors, like I said, you can read all them. You can do component testings, and that means like active tests. So for instance, you've just put a throttle body in, you want to activate it, see if it works, or you've just put a new fan in and see, you know, if it does function, especially for the salvage world. Remember, it's good when you put a, you know, like when you're fixing a car up and you've put a new component in, you've put a radiator, you've put the fan in, and you think, okay, well, before I fit the whole body in, before I put the bumpers on, I want to check the fan to see if it works. This will do it, which is good stuff. You can do onboard monitor testing as well, which is good. Like, there are multiple things. It comes well built in that sense. There are a lot of software in this, and the pricing is brilliant, so it works out very well. If we are comparing this to all the other diagnostic machines, it's a good machine for the price. I've always said, you got to think, what does it offer? What can you get for the price? Like we said before, this comparing to other diagnostic machines, you're paying a bit more. But yeah, there is a few other things I'd like to go through so you can see what it is capable of. In terms of you've got high-end hardware configuration as well. Like, so the screen on this is a 5-inch IPS touchscreen. You can put a 32. There is already a 32 gigabyte internal memory. You can also put a 128 gigabyte expansion. So in here you can put the you can put a memory of 128. Like we've said, you can do a DTC code library, online diagnostic feedbacks as well, which is good. Now, one of the main reasons I'd say this X tool D5S is a good tool. Right now, like I've said, I'm comparing it to the others as well, like your Autel, Snap-on, Launch and whatnot. This specific one, okay, which is good for both the professional and the enthusiasts. For someone, that's using it probably, I don't know, let's just say handful of times a year. I mean, you got to remember, if you're buying a diagnostic tool, you got to also think about the other things around it, such as the update. Now, updates on most diagnostic tools, probably 80, 90, 100 quid. This is the basic ones. But something quite high up like this, maybe a bit more, between 100 to 200 pounds. The further you go up, let's say my Autel Ultralight was around about 1100 dollars, sorry, or $1,200, $1,200, which is a lot of money. You got to think it's nearly as much as the machine over the years. Whereas this one, guys, is free lifetime update, which is really no-brainer for some of you out there, you know, that are after a diagnostic machine that does most of the things that I've gone through already. You got to understand, this is a brilliant piece of kit. And not only that, it's free lifetime updates, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I've got to spend this much this year, I've got to spend that much that year. No, it's the same thing every year. You get a free update. And also remember, Xtool has been out for a good few years, so there's been a lot of trial and errors in that sense, and they've done the best of the best. So it is a good machine. I will put the link below anyway, so you guys can look into it, and we will also pair it up to car at a later video, so you can all see what it's capable of doing.